What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Ade and Gman. Need a favor before we even get going. I need you to subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 200,000 subscribers. There's a lot of you that watch this channel and don't subscribe. I'm not pointing fingers. I do the same thing on a few other channels as well. There's so many channels I watch and I've realized I've not pressed the subscribe button. If you're one of those people, please do press the subscribe button. It really helps. And do the same thing for G-Man's channel as well. Thank you to the person that pointed out that I didn't put G-Man's channel in my description. I did it immediately after this guy pointed it out, G-Man. I will say this, but I did forget to do it. So thank you to that person. G-Man's channel will be in the description this time, 100%. And I'm collabing with him on this video as well. Go over, support him. He's trying to get to 30,000. I'm trying to get the long road to 200,000. But one thing we will do is continually put effort on both of our channels. So you guys will be fully immersed in the content over the next few weeks and months. All right, let's get into it because there's quite a lot to go through. As always, I've got a list of subjects that I want to talk about, but let's start with what happened. This is, by the way, being recorded Tuesday evening. This will go up on Wednesday, but I want to reflect on what happened a few hours ago, and that's Tyson Fury and that launch press conference for his fight against Arslan Bekmambetov. It was hosted by Josh Denzel. Good to see Anna Woolhouse back. She did the studio hosting with Carl Froch and Lennox Lewis. What did you make? Honest opinions. That's what we do on this channel. That's what people want to come and hear from us. What did you make of the press conference?
Not the most entertaining press conference I've ever seen, to say the least. It was a lot of just this and that. I wanted to hear from Tyson Fury. I wanted to hear a little bit more from Bekmambetov, but I really wanted to hear on Tyson Fury. I was kind of in my head thinking he's going to say this, he's going to say that. And when it came to it, it was just, yeah, I'm back. I'm going to be champion. I'm enjoying the training and I don't like the cold. I'm like, that's it. All that for this. Okay.
Yeah, I needed a bit more as well. We haven't heard from Tyson Fury in a press conference setting for 15, 16 months, right? And that was the Fury 2 fight. So it's been a long time since we've actually heard from him in a public setting. Yes, he's given us little bits on Instagram, but in terms of actually hearing from him in a professional setting, it's been a long time. And I think he was a bit frustrated by the fact he had to wait 40 minutes for the questions to come to him. There were some questions that could have easily been asked of him, and they were asked of Spencer Brown and Frank Warren. And this is not digging out Josh Denzel because I've been in there. I've done that position. It's not easy when you've got to ask this person, that person. But I always say, ask the fighters the first questions and then move on to whoever and then come back to the fighters because they're there waiting. They don't really want to do it. And I felt like Tyson Fury almost got bored a bit. And that's probably why it wasn't vintage Tyson Fury. It was still good. I still enjoyed parts of it, but it wasn't vintage Fury.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. You know, you kind of got the impression that Fury was there ready to go. You know, he was ready to be asked the questions. And then to wait, you know, it was Spencer Brown, it was Rick Reno, it was Frank Warren, then to come to him. And also I think that with Tyson Fury, you can tell how up he is for a fight with how he behaves at a press conference. And a part of me, even though I know this is a comeback fight, but a part of me maybe is wondering, okay, Arslan Bekmambetov, I don't really see him as that much of a threat, you know, and his English is not, you know, the strongest. He's not someone I'm going to be able to get under their skin. So I think when he's got someone like that at a press conference, he kind of just mellows out a little bit. Like if it was a Wilder, if it was an AJ, if it was a Usyk again, trying to get under their skin, I think we'd see a more lively, even if he waited 40 minutes, we'd see a more lively Tyson Fury.
Yeah. You know, when I think of Fury's recent press conferences, Usyk twice, obviously it's going to be a lot of back and forth there. Usyk's team are quite aggressive. We've seen that the Usyk team like to kind of go at the Fury team and vice versa. And then you even see the Ngannou press conference where Ngannou went at Tyson Fury a couple of times saying, you're lucky this is a boxing ring. If it wasn't, I'll do you just like that. I almost feel like Fury needs someone that he can go back and forth with. And Arslan Bekmambetov was almost there like a visitor, almost like a spectator. And I'm like, get involved, Arslan Beck. I get it. English isn't your first language. I understand that, but you do speak English. Jump in. When Tyson Fury said, I'm going to butcher his face, I'm going to knock you out. I'm like, say something. Don't just be happy to be here. And we got nothing. And if Fury's getting nothing back, like Fury needs a dance partner. He's very good by himself, but he needs someone to kind of go back and forth with. And he had no one to go back and forth with. And that's probably why I say it wasn't vintage Fury, because ultimately he needs someone to goad into to prod at. And Arslan Beck wasn't that guy.
No, far from it. And even I felt for Josh at times in there, because you're asking Arslan Bekmambetov, you know, oh, Fury's been dropped 8 times in his career. You hit very hard. Do you think you can drop him? I don't know. We know on fight night. And you're kind of like, even for, I say for an interviewer, that must be an awful thing. When you give him all those details, you're thinking, yeah, he's going to say I'm going to drop him. And then he just says, I don't know. We'll wait till fight night. You're like, oh, crap. What do I do from that? Like, because it's not going to get Fury up because the guy's not even saying like, oh, I don't know if I can do this or not. And you as an interviewer, you're thinking, I've given you all that and you've just given me, I don't know. Simple as. It's just, yeah. That's got to be soul destroying for both of them.
There was a couple of takeaways, a couple of things that I wrote down that Fury said. One thing he said was that boxing's been boring without him. Obviously, specifically talking about the heavyweight division. And I kind of disagree with that. I feel like Wardley's done really well. Like in the time that Fury's been out, Wardley's emerged as a force in the heavyweight division. We saw Usyk Dubois. That was a good fight as well. I don't think it's been boring. I feel like Fury's always the center of the heavyweight division, but I don't think it's been boring in the 15 months it's been away, but it is exciting to have Tyson Fury back.
I completely disagree. I think we have missed him. I think his presence, isn't this right? When it comes to the heavyweight division, Fury is always going to be in everyone's lips. Even when he's not heavyweight champion, he's always going to be in everyone's lips. People want Tyson Fury. They want him at press conferences. They want him at events. That's one thing I agree with Frank Warren. He was saying he's one of the most charismatic fighters he's ever worked with. Everyone wants to see Tyson Fury, and they do. When he's going to events, even before a fight with Usyk, when he was at the Ade Dubois fight, everyone wanted to see Tyson Fury. Everybody was there. Everyone wanted to see him. When he's away, you do kind of miss it. You do kind of lose that. You could be talking about a Telma versus Dylan White, and there's no mention of Tyson Fury. You could be talking about Wardley versus Parker. Oh, Fury's there in attendance, but God, Wardley's not going to fight him because he's retired. So you do miss him. And I think his presence there, when he's in the game, when he's active, it does make a big difference, and it gets eyes on the sport. So I disagree with
okay.
Like, as good as last year was, if Fury was there, it would have been better.
Yeah, but there's a distinction. There's a difference. Is it you miss him or it's been boring without him? I said it's not been boring without him. I certainly miss him. I think he's the man when it comes to press conferences, when it comes to everything. But I don't think it's been boring without him. That's what he said.
No, I think it is a little bit boring without him. I think it is. I think he just adds something to the sport when he's there, right? And even when he's active, even when he's teasing potential fights, it gets people talking more about the sport. Canelo Alvarez could be fighting Terence Crawford. If Tyson Fury is around, if he's there, you've people saying, what's the next big fight after Canelo Crawford? Is it going to be Fury versus Usyk? Is it going to be Fury versus Joshua? He's always there in people's lips. And I think there's a different note. We can say we missed him, and we did miss him a little bit. But I do think the sport did suffer a little bit because he's not there. His name is never there when he's quote unquote retired. And I do think we missed him for that reason.
You know what's very interesting? And I think as well as much as I'm happy that we've got a big run of heavyweight big fights, all seem to be back to back, by the way, in the next sort of 2 months. If I'm a promoter or manager, I'm a bit nervous as to which fights punters choose to go to, because you can't afford to go to them all. When you chuck in travel, hotel, fight ticket, and obviously we've got Wardley Dubois. I mean, you've got Italma versus Franklin. We've got Wilder, Chisora Wilder. You've now got Fury, Arslanbek Makhmudov. You've got all those in a 7-week span. Now, if I'm a fight fan, I might go to 2. Definitely 1. I'm not going to 3 or 4. So if I'm a promoter of these events, if I'm the broadcaster, you better start promoting. You better start, because ultimately a fight fan isn't going to go to every single one of them because it's going to cost thousands when you chuck in, again, flights, hotel, trains, whatever, food, drink. So it's going to be interesting. As much as we praise the fact that we've got a lot of big fights over here, fight fans are going to have to pick and choose.
Yes, I think the Fury and Gman or Fury Makhmudov fight is lucky because it's going to be in line with the next series of At Home with the Furies. So I think just by default, that's going to do well because people are going to see At Home with the Furies. It done well first series. It's going to do well this second series. They're going to see that advertised as well. So I think that one just by default will do well. But I agree with you. And they're all in very short proximity of one another. So what do you do? I think even for the promoters, I think that Frank is probably in a good position because he can delegate that between George and Francis. But if you're a fight fan, if you want to attend these, oh, good luck with that, man. Because they're nearly all up in Manchester as well, aren't they? If you think about, they're both separate. 2 in Manchester, 2 in London. But you still have to just pick and choose which one you could. There's no way you could do them all. No way.
No, there's no way. I mean, well, you can, but financially, it's going to be so difficult to afford them all. When we recorded last week, obviously we knew Fury Makhmudov was done. We didn't know the venue at the time of recording last week. We now know it is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Fury has fought there before. He fought Derek Chisora there back in 2022 in December. He, I think, pretty much sold it out then. He was world heavyweight champion then, so maybe there was a bit more about him, right? He was unbeaten then as well. Will he sell it out? I think he will personally, regardless of the undercard. What's your thoughts? Do you think he will struggle?
It's going to be a tougher sell, this one. And I'll tell you why, right? World heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury coming out of retirement. No champion. It is a different sell. And in London, Derek Chisora. Man, Derek Chisora is a huge name in London. So you've got Fury, who was a big name, world heavyweight champion, just done Wembley Stadium. Derek Chisora, everyone knows Chisora. Chisora can do the O2 pretty much against anybody, right? You match them together, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's a sellout. Easy, slam dunk. Arslan Makhmudov, and in fairness, he didn't exactly sell himself at the press conference. You're going to watch that, you're going to be like, maybe if I could attend the fight the week before, maybe I will. I'm touch and go whether this actually does sell out. I really am.
Yeah, I was touch and go, but I was always confident it would sell out because I always felt like Fury would sell us the press conference. Like he would sell it. And it wasn't the biggest sell, was it? It wasn't the biggest push to buy the ticket. So I don't know. I'm with you. Any other opponent that maybe even spoke English and went back and forth? I mean, you've got a chance. But again, Arslan, like if I'm the manager of Arslan Makhmudov, and look, I get it. All fighters have different personalities. Not everyone's going to, flip a table. Not everyone's going to swear and start using expletives. But if I'm Arslan Makhmudov's manager, I'm having a word with him saying, all right, look, dude, you've got the fight. Fair play. Sell it a little bit. Like you might need to kind of be a bit more expressive. You're the big giant here. Maybe come across a bit more aggressive and more, always happy to be here. Like Tyson Fury tickling him and he's smiling with. I'm like, I hate all that stuff. Are you here for war? What are we doing? Why are you letting him tickle you? What are we doing?
Best friends. No, well, here's a prime example, right? Now, you may disagree with me on this one, right? But when they announced Ben versus Eubank, right? Conor Ben, Chris Eubank, the first fight, when they announced that, right? And they announced for Tottenham Hotspur, I was like, will it? Will it actually sell out? And what happened at the press conference? After that egg hit Conor Ben, it was like, yeah, that's selling out. That's done. That's selling out. After this press conference, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you're tickling your opponent. People didn't like it when you did it against Sefa Safiri and you made it out as though you were best buds. And you're going to like it now, all these years later. So I'm on the fences. That's where a big press conference, a big event like that and doing something, you don't have to go and slap them with an egg, but you know what I mean? You can show there's needle there. You're like, oh, these two don't like, well, yeah, now it's something. That was just, yeah, what are you going to do? I don't know. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, y'all want to see that.
And what also doesn't help, and I wonder if they did it, probably not, face off. Like again, normally with a Fury, there's a face off and that helps the sell. Obviously, it being Netflix and it being Arslan Makhmudov, I don't know if there'll be a face off. I'm guessing there'll be a sit down conversation with Rick Reno, but not your typical face off where Fury then gives you a bit more gold, a bit more magic. So I guess you lose that as well. But what you do have with Netflix is the power to put out so many great promos and promotional runs, and no expense will be spared. They will make sure that everyone on planet Earth knows about this fight. So as much as we're saying it might not sell, I guess the casual fans are just interested in Tyson Fury and not necessarily invested in who his opponent is. And I think that's probably how they're going to look at it. And I think that's probably why it gets 50 to 60,000. No mention of the undercard. We are hearing Jimmy TKV versus Richard Riakporhe as the chief support, but it wasn't announced today. 8 weeks out, no names yet.
I was hoping we would hear something today. They've been teasing a good undercard. We were hearing names like Vidal Riley. I'm a bit disappointed. You don't need to have the undercard at the press conference, but at the very least, you could announce it. You can get the ball rolling because we're talking about selling a fight, right? How many times do we sell fights just on the undercard? There are plenty of fights. There's plenty of main events where you're like, maybe will it not? But then you look at the undercard and you're like, oh yeah, it's a strong undercard. That'll do all right. We didn't hear anything. Hearing, and as you say, it could be Jamie TKV versus Riakporhe. Haven't that even just announced? They don't have to be there. But just having that announced, you know, and a couple of the other guys, you'd be like, okay, that's going to shift some tickets. Some people are going to be like, oh, that's a good heavyweight fight. I'll watch that. Or, you know, it gets a bit more interest.
Yeah, I like that fight if it does happen, by the way. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about Jimmy TKV versus Johnny Fisher. I'm guessing with this being Netflix, Turkey, Ring, etc., I'm guessing TKV got offered a bit more money for Reactpor. Hence why he's going the Reactpor route instead of the Johnny Fisher route. But I don't mind it. I think it's a good fight. I think TKV's stock has risen a lot since that Fraser Clark fight, a lot since it. So it's a good fight. It's a good fight. A guy that's really a bridgerweight against a heavyweight, although Reactpor is now built into a heavyweight. It's a good matchup. It's a good matchup. All right, let's talk about two guys who I believe have both fought for the British heavyweight title. I'm talking about Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois. Obviously, this will be for the world title. Again, last week when we filmed, we weren't sure what the venue was. We now know it's going to be in Manchester. I think they could have gone to a stadium. I think this fight, it might have been a push. But I think it could have. I was actually speaking to Don Charles yesterday. Again, this is being filmed on Tuesday. Me and Don had a long conversation on Monday. And I even said to Don, like, this could have gone to a stadium. And he said he agrees. But it's going to go to an arena. It will sell out. It's going to be packed in there. We mentioned it, so we don't need to go too much into it again. This is such a good fight. It's such a good fight, and I'm really split down the line on this one.
I am favouring Dubois. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I'm favouring him. I think it's a phenomenal fight. I think blinking, you'll miss it, or don't blink is just the perfect way to sell this fight, because that's really what it is. Man, I just can't wait. I just can't wait for May. I'm so happy they announced it. I just think it's going to be wonderful. In terms of it happening, I agree. It could have been in a stadium. Where that stadium is, I don't know. I just find it strange that you've done Ipswich Town, you've done Portman Road in a stadium for Wardley, okay? And then he's fought in London, which is not a million miles. It takes, an hour, less than an hour to get from Ipswich to London. It's not far. Daniel Dubois is from London. He's fought most of his biggest fights in London. I like the Co-op Arena in Manchester, don't get me wrong, but is it, like, I'm wondering, why is Fury fighting in London when he's a Manchester guy, and why are these two, where they've mainly built their career in London, why are they now fighting in Manchester? It seems like they just got the locations the wrong way around. But 100% this fight does the stadium. You know, when we talk about Fury, could he do Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? I'm sticking my neck out and saying this fight right here, Dubois versus Wardley, it will do Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It would have done the 65,000, no questions asked. Easy, no questions.
Yeah, both are like almost stars now in boxing. Dubois' last two fights have done 90,000 in stadiums, AJ and Usyk, and Fabio Wardley's last few fights have done good numbers. And obviously, as you mentioned, he fought against Justice Hooney, Portman Road, pouring rain, and still got 25,000 packed in there. If you were to fight Daniel Dubois at Portman Road, they could easily have done 30,000. Quite comfortably have done 30. But I'm guessing, I'm starting to understand, or at least believe now, that Queensberry just have a deal with the Co-op. There must be a deal, because obviously a lot of fights are going up to the Co-op Arena. So I'm guessing they've just got a deal. And look, I don't mind a packed arena. I grew up when most of the fights were in arenas. Like the stadium thing really only came around in my era, Froch versus Groves, and then obviously it became the norm. Before that, it was just arenas for everything, the O2 arena. So I don't mind a good arena. You don't have trouble with the weather in a good arena like we did at Portman Road. So I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's a safety thing for me with arenas, unless it's a guaranteed 60,000. And although I think this could do 60, I'm not as confident as you that it does it, so I'm okay with it being an arena.
I do love the stadiums, though. I have to say, like, Tottenham Hotspur, I understand why they go back to it, because the atmosphere is incredible. But having said that, a lot of AJ, because AJ was kind of, for me, I remember Froch Groves 2 in Wembley, but AJ was the guy who got the ball rolling, really. Like, every fight for a while, it was just stadium after stadium. There is something about watching a big fight in an arena like the O2, and the Co-op, I do like it. It's a great atmosphere in it. It's those low ceilings. Everyone feels closer to the ring, because if you see in a stadium, some people, they feel like they're a distant. Everyone seems like they're just on top of that ring. Everyone can see what's going on, and the sound just stays. So when someone gets buzzed, and believe me, I think that both guys will be buzzed. Both guys are probably going to touch down. So I think the fans in that stadium, or in the arena, the atmosphere is probably going to be electric, because they are going to see many knockdowns, I reckon, in this fight. Many. There
was a knockdown in the fight on Zuffa on Sunday, F.A. Jagba. stopping Charles Martin in the 4th round. You predicted that in the last Ade and Gman. F.A. Jagba now and his team screaming for a world title, sure, at least to get in the mix to fight for a world title. He's not going to be a million miles away from it. What did you make of F.A.'s performance against, obviously, a vet that's right at the end now in Charles Martin?
It was a weird performance because you got to think about it, right? F.A. Jagba had a good performance against Martin Bakole. I felt like he won the fight. I think he was hard done by, and he showed me new things in his game. In this fight right here, he was 14 pounds heavier than he was against Bakole, which I think showed because he looked so flat and he's just following Martin around the ring. He was hit with left hands from the first round. He lost the first 2 rounds. He's getting outboxed. But the problem was for Martin, you just knew disaster was imminent. You're just waiting for that right hand to land. And once that lands, oh my God, he is just a massive puncher. I truly think that world champions will look at a Jagba and they'll think, right, just avoid the right hand and you'll be all right. Because that's literally what it seems like. Avoid the right hand and you'll be all right. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I was too taken aback by the weight. I didn't know, I didn't follow the weigh-ins or anything like that, so I didn't know his weight. But then when I saw him in the ring, I looked at the size of his biceps, his back. I was like, is he heavier? Because I've always looked at him as having something like a Deontay Wilder frame. Obviously, I know he's a bit bigger than Wilder, but he's always been around the 230s, 240, as you say. And what surprised me is that you come in 240 against Bakole, who's 300 pounds. Like, Charles Martin's nowhere near that. Why do you think you need to be 254 pounds plus? I don't understand what they've done. They've got it wrong, his team. And look, I'm no specialist when it comes to strength and condition and knowing someone's body, but even I can see he's too heavy. Like, go back to what you was good at, which was fast right hands, fast feet, fast hands in general. And that's by being 14 pounds lighter. So hopefully they look at it and think, okay, we need to kind of go back to what got us here, as opposed to trying to be this big force of a man. Because even if he's 254, he's still not going to be the biggest heavyweight. So I don't understand why he's going for size.
I really can't get my head around it, to be honest with you, because we've seen it so often. Fighters trying to put more size on and it never works. Joseph Parker, prime example. Man was blown in the first couple of rounds against Wardley. F.A. Jagba's always been lean. He's always been in shape. He's always been very stiff. Like, he's unlike Wilder. Wilder's not a stiff heavyweight at all, but he's always been stiff. You add on more muscle, you add on more weight, you're only going to be less mobile. And we're talking about a fighter who's not the most, he's not exactly the most mobile heavyweight in the world. And I just thought, oh my God, what have you done? So I'm hoping his team will look at that. It didn't affect his power because we always knew he could punch. So the extra 14 pounds is going to have no bearing on his power. He can hit like, an absolute, raging bull. I just thought he looked awful with that extra weight. 14 pounds. And that's way heavier than his previous heavy. I think his previous heavy was like 245 or something like that. So he's just gone way overboard. And yeah, I think moving forward, look, it didn't come back to bite him in the you-know-what against Martin. He was able to get the win, but I think that there'll be lessons learned from that. There has to be. You can't be weighing that every fight. No way.
Yeah. Give me a name. Who would you want him in the ring with next?
All right, there's the question. I wouldn't mind seeing him against Hrgovic. That'd be an interesting fight.
That's a really good call out, that is. If I'm Hrgovic, I don't take it. But if I'm F.A. Jagba, I want that straight away. I think that's a great matchup. We know Hrgovic has got the chin of all chins in the heavyweight division, and it will be tested. And he's got an improved gas tank now with Abel Sanchez, so that's a great shout. Did you see the greatest, maybe, uppercut knockout I've ever seen by Zambekov? Did you see it on the card?
I did. What? Do you know what? I was hearing, I didn't know what round, what the result. I just knew there was a big knockout on the co-main. I'm like, all right, go to co-main. And when I saw that uppercut, I was like, damn, the man's leg was like literally like spasming on the ground. That's scary when you see that. But what, like, that was the most perfect uppercut you could ever see. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Beautiful. It's just, the uppercut's one of those punches that when someone executes it like he did, like Povetkin did against Dillian White, it just looks like the best punch in boxing. Because there's nothing you can do to protect it. Even if you kind of put your guard up, it almost breaches the guard. It goes straight through it. I thought it was honestly incredible. And that I'd be shocked if anyone beats that as knockout of the year, then I don't know. There has to be ambulances ringside, because that there is one of the greatest knockouts I've ever seen. If you guys haven't seen it, please go and find it. It just is sensational. All right, let's talk some negative shit, because there was a lot of talk about a rumored announcement that we are going to see finally Vergil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis. And everyone was excited. No one really was kind of, telling us it was done because like with boxing, there will be hurdles. And now there seems to be quite a big hurdle being put in front of this fight being made. Golden Boy have put on they've gone legal with it and they've put a hold on anything being done. They put a hold on Vergil fighting Boots. They put a hold on discussions. This is just so embarrassing.
It's awful. The date we were hearing was April the 18th. So we would have had pretty much a 4-week run of a Telma, Wilder, Chisora, Fury, and then this. It would have been an amazing couple of weeks, an amazing fight. And we're right back to square one. It's just so frustrating what's going on. And I don't know what the issue is with Oscar and Golden Boy. I really don't. Because since the get-go, and I like Oscar, don't get me wrong, but since the get-go, it seemed like Eddie and Boots have been like, yep, let's get this fight over the line. Vergil has been like, yep, let's get this fight over the line. And Oscar has been like, hang on a minute. And now we're hearing talk of restraining orders and stuff like that. It's getting worrying, I have to say, at this stage now, because Ortiz has had a bit of a stop-start career, making way for 147, struggling to make the weight, and, it's held him up. And now this is the last thing he needs, because he's been on such a good run of form at 154 as well. Like, it's just really good. You just want to see him push on. Not only could we not see him against Boots, we might not see him this year, God forbid, but if it's as serious as this and he's going down legal roads and all that, we genuinely might not see him this year, which I really hope is not the case. I hope they get it resolved and just sharper heads prevail. Maybe Turkey gets involved and boom.
Yeah. With the Turkey involvement, I almost want to see them sort it out without that. Like the fact that everyone's got to go to Turkey all the time to sort these things out, it in itself is quite embarrassing. Like, these are two experienced camps here now. You're talking Eddie with Matchroom and that power, and Vergil with Golden Boy and Oscar and that power. How can they not come together and get this fight sorted? You don't know what the problem is. The problem always lies with money and fights. And there's clearly a problem there when it comes to who should be getting paid for what. So look, it goes way above my head. It goes above your head. I only hope that this can be sorted, because you are looking at potentially the biggest fight, minus Teo Shakur, the biggest next fight that can be made in American boxing right now. And it would have been a big one in the 154-pound division. So yeah, let's hope it can be cleared up. One fight that does go ahead, no issues at all with these two. Lee Wood versus Josh Warrington. Nottingham Motor Point Arena, sold out weeks ago, like sold out. And normally they say sold out, there's always tickets. No tickets. It's done. Like, there are no tickets available. Two of the elder statesmen, two warriors, two people that have done so much for British boxing. Lee Wood now 37, which surprised me when I saw that today. Josh Warrington 35. Loser has to leave boxing, probably. That's probably it for the loser. These guys are going to go out swinging. Like, whoever does lose is going out swinging on Saturday.
Oh, boy. It's in Nottingham as well. Nottingham and Leeds are fairly close in the league as well. So, yeah, there's that as well. Yeah, look, both guys, utmost respect for them. Absolutely have enjoyed so many of their fights. I enjoyed their first fight. It was brilliant. I just think Josh Warrington has a little bit more left in the tank. Mate, that Kakache fight, that was punishing. I know Warrington lost and he was outboxed and beaten and all that, but Lee Wood was really punished by Kakache in his last fight. I can't see him getting over that. And I think Josh Warrington won't make the mistake that he made last time, where he was clearly winning. He ended up getting caught. And the referee, it was a bit of a premature stoppage, it has to be said. I don't think he'll make any mistakes. I think he'll win, probably on points, but we don't know how Lee Wood's going to be following on from that knockout defeat. If he's really diminished, we could be seeing a Josh Warrington stoppage.
Yeah, one thing about Lee, I love Lee Wood, fantastic support, and the way in which he's risen through sort of the rankings to become a world champion. One of the most unexpected world champions, and he's done very well, but he does get hit. It's always a rocky moment in his fights, and sometimes he can get through the rocky moment, sometimes he can't. Mauricio Lara example, and Kakache another example. And you're right, although he stopped Josh, you look at Josh's performance against Kakache, and he probably lost every round, but he's there, he's still fighting to the end. He's got more left in the tank, where with Lee, you almost feel like he's going to get caught. And can he absorb the shots? Like, how much can he keep going to the well and finding? And I just wonder if he's going to go to the well when it's going to be dry this time. So I'm with you. I think I edge ever so slightly to Josh, but it is in Nottingham. Crowd's going to be with Lee, I think, although I know Leeds have bought a lot of tickets. I'm split, but I'm going to go 55-45 Josh.
I'm going to say 60-40 Josh. I'm going to give him a little bit more of a push in that direction, I think. But I just want to touch on something though. You said Lee Wood, unexpected world champion, all right? Do you want to know a little bit of, I love my trivia, all right? In 2019, there was that golden contract tournament, which I think Sky Sports were running, where you had kind of domestic level and kind of fighters who couldn't really get an opportunity were fighting for a contract. I forget who it was with, but it was a contract nonetheless. And you know, I think it was the semi-final, Lee Wood fought Jazza Dickens, and he lost that fight to Jazza Dickens, both of whom have gone on to now become world champions late on in their careers.
Yeah. Again, that's credit to both for not giving up, for committing to the game, for staying with it. And it could be easy to kind of feel like, okay, done, my chance is gone. But both have done really, really well. And look, as you mentioned, Jazza, he's got a big fight coming up against Kakache as well. It's weird though, they're all getting fed to Kakache, by the way. Everyone has to go through Kakache, don't they? It's crazy. Josh has to go through Kakache, Lee, and now bloody Jazza. Good luck to Jazza in that one. Again, that's not going to be easy. Good co-main event, Chief Support, Bilal Fawaz, Ishmael Davis, British and Commonwealth title fight, this one. Mate, Ishmael Davis has had 4 fights in 5 months.
It's crazy, isn't it? And they're all, apart from one, was a 6-rounder. They're all going to distance. I like Ishmael Davis. I think that he's been unlucky, right? He's taken fights on short notice, like against Josh Kelly. And just that performance against Josh Kelly, I mean, like Josh Kelly's a world champion now. And people, I still believe if that was a fully, ready and he didn't have, 7 days notice, he had a full camp, he would have beaten Josh Kelly. I think he would have. I really do. He fought Kevin and Jargo in Belfast, lost that fight in a very close decision, fought Boacek, who is just, world level to say the least. There's no shame in losing to him, right? And then, I think, did he have one more loss? Troy Williamson, wasn't it? Did he fight him? But he had another loss, I think, as well. And he fought Sam Gilly last time, and he finally got some good luck. I thought he won the fight legitimately. Now, I have to say, I thought Ishmael Davis won it. But finally, when it comes to a close fight, he got his just dessert in that fight. I'm really happy for him. And I think, look, he'll go from strength to strength. The activity, I'm sure, is going to help him.
Yeah, I think he beat Troy. I think he beat Troy Williamson. And that Boychuk one as well. Let's not forget the Boychuk defeat was on short notice as well. I remember it was supposed to be Boychuk versus Israel Madrimov. So he took, a couple of the defeats have been very, very, very lastminute.com call-ups. And I thought it was unlucky against Kevin. I thought Kevin maybe edged it, but he was coming on strong in that Kevin fight as well. So look, I like him. I like Bilal though. There's something about Bilal. I don't know what it is. He has this confidence, the way in which he speaks. Obviously, came through the Junaid Boston fight, nearly got Junaid out of there, won it on the points, a tight one. I think it's a really good fight. I really do. And if you're Ishmael and you come through this, and Josh Kelly's struggling to get an opponent, right? Maybe he can't get Xander Zayas. Maybe he doesn't want to fight Boots. If I'm him, I knock on that Josh Kelly door again and say, well, 1 second. I took your fight on 5 days' notice. Give me some real notice and let's do this again. He probably won't get it. But if I'm any of these guys, whether it be Bilal or Ishmael, and I win that fight, I grab the mic and I call out Josh Kelly. I scream and say, give me Josh Kelly. It's an in-house fight. Matchroom, it's an in-house fight. Like, they should be screaming for that world title shot. You win a British, you win a Commonwealth. I don't know who the European champion is, but you should be, the next thing is a world title.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'd be going back and saying, as you said, 5 days notice, I nearly had you out of there in round 12. Do you really want to fight me with a full camp? I think that either guy should be saying that. And with Josh Kelly, he's not going to fight Conor. He's not going to get a Conor Benn fight. Don't know what's going to happen with him and Boots, whether that happens or not. Xander Zayas, Fundora's got Thurman. So Josh Kelly, as good as he is and world champion now, he's literally got like not many options. So that's, as you said, in-house fight. It's a no-brainer. It should be a slam dunk. You do it up in Newcastle or Sunderland, and especially if it's Ishmael Davis, you could say, well, hang on a minute, right now, it's all fair. Because the first time around, Josh Kelly knew he was on that card months in advance, thought he was fighting Liam Smith. Ishmael Davis was like, well, thank God I'm in shape because now I can take this fight. So yeah, 100%. I'd be screaming for Josh Kelly, whoever wins that fight. And I think they deserve it. I think it's certainly Ishmael Davis. I think he really does deserve it. He really does.
You say Liam Smith. I completely forgot it was Josh Kelly versus Liam Smith. Completely forgot. We should do a series on fights that have just been missed because of whatever and have never ever been revisited again. Like there will never ever be Josh Kelly versus Liam Smith. Like it's never happening again. Like there's so many fights that like were supposed to happen and didn't happen. David A. Tyson Fury. Like there's so many fights like that and you just never saw the outcome. We should do a prediction video on all of those fights. I think that would be fun. Talking of predictions, Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios, the WBC welterweight champion. Who wins?
Garcia stops him. It's as simple as that. I don't think Mario Barrios, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Mario Barrios got beat by an ancient Manny Pacquiao who'd been out of the ring for 4 years. Manny Pacquiao's 45 years old. And yeah, officially, it's a draw. He lost the fight. Ryan Garcia, yeah, he's not been on great form. He's got a loss, a no contest and a loss. But come on. He's got the beating of this guy. Seriously.
Wait. So you just said it yourself there. Ryan Garcia coming into this fight has got a loss, a no contest, and a loss. And you're predicting he just somehow just easily beats Mario Barrios. Ryan Garcia has not won a fight in 3 years. 3 years. Yeah, you just think, he easily beats Barrios.
Well, there's method to my madness, right? Lightweight, drained, rehydration clause. Okay, and we'll push that one to one side, the tank fight. Okay. Yes, Devin Haney, you did win the fight, but you were on it and you kind of admitted it. So we'll call that a no contest. I really don't know what happened against Rowley. I really don't. That one is the anomaly there. I still don't know what happened. But going into that fight, maybe it was to where it was in Times Square. It didn't turn out to be what we thought it would be. And he was behaving way too normal for his own standards, way too normal. He needs chaos. He seems to be a bit more in that chaotic mindset now. So I reckon we're going to see Ryan Garcia back to his normal best. And him at his normal best, he's not a world level boxer. He's athletic, he's fast, he looks to set the left hook up. And that's what he's going to do. And I think he's going to knock Mario Barrios into another universe. Okay.
I am working on that fight. I'm working on the broadcast, so I will put my bun firmly on the fence on this one. And also because I don't actually know. I'm not convinced Barrios is a world beater, although he is the world champion. And I'm still and ahhing about how good I think Ryan Garcia is, at least this version of Ryan Garcia, who seems to be switching trainers every single second. All right, let's wrap up by talking about this fight that's just been announced. We've been talking a lot about the 154-pound division. Brandon Adams versus Kevin Ajarko. Done, signed, and sealed 154-pound IBF final eliminator. So, Josh Kelly's belt. This is a final eliminator to fight for that belt. Tough fight for Kevin. Brandon Adams beat Boychuk again. And we spoke about Ishmael Davis stepping up to fight Boychuk, and Ishmael got stopped. This is how good Brandon Adams is. Brandon Adams almost might be the silent assassin in the 154-pound division that no one's really talking about. We hear everyone talk about Boots and Vergil and Bakram, and no one really mentions Brandon Adams, yet he beat Boychuk twice. He's a bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm. Brandon Adams is a phenomenally talented fighter, and I like Kevin. I do. I like him. I wish him nothing but the best. But from what I've seen, I don't give him a sniff of a prayer. And to be honest with you, I think Kevin's at the wrong weight. I think he could do 147 because he looked tiny compared to Ishmael Davis when they fought. So I think Kevin should be looking at welterweight. He shouldn't be looking, I get it. You're going to get a final eliminator. You're going to get a world title fight off the back of it if you win. But I don't think he's going to be winning this fight. I think Brandon Adams is so... You said it yourself. He's not someone when we talk 154 who just comes to our minds. Genuinely, he doesn't, right? But he is phenomenally good. Like, he's beaten Boachuk twice. He looks really good. He looks really talented. And I guess that kind of shows how good the division is because it is so top heavy that we see the champions, we see the contenders like Boots and Vergil. We do forget about the guys like the Brandon Adams. And I think he is. I love Kevin Ajarko. I love his story. You know, fellow Irishman. But he ain't winning this fight.
Yeah, it's a tough ask. As I always say this, it's a tough ask, but it should be on the route to a world title. Some people have easy routes. This is not an easy route by any stretch of the imagination. He came through the Ishmael Davis fight, but this is a whole different level because I think Brandon Adams and obviously Kevin's going to have to travel as well. So this isn't home comforts. This isn't in Ireland or even in the UK. This will be in America. So look, good luck to Kevin. And who knows? We have seen, a few upsets in the last couple of months. This could be another one. G-Man, as always, my man, thank you very, very much. It's been a quick, fast-paced Ade and Gman. We covered a lot in there as well. If you are watching right now, still right at the end of the video, thank you very much. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, share the video, like it, leave a comment as well. Go to Gman's channel. The link is in the description. Subscribe to his channel as well. It really would mean a lot. Again, he's trying to get to 30,000. Let's see if we can get him there very quickly, guys. Until then, we'll see you in the next one.